Welcome to the SLS 1501 virtual library instruction. My name is Tom O'Brien. I am an assistant university librarian at FAU. And I got kind of a lot of things to show you today, and I'm going to try to do it in about 40 minutes or so. On the screen here, you can see that the things I want to show you. First of all, I want to show you how to navigate the PBSC databases. Databases are where you're going to find articles from journals and magazines and newspapers and whatnot, as well as other things as too. I'm going to show you how to cite sources. That used to be kind of difficult back in the day when you had to grab a little book and find out the author's name, last name, something's in parentheses, something's underlined, et cetera, et cetera. This stuff's all done for you now, and it's easy. I want to show you how to utilize the PBSC research guides. The research guides are basically anything that I show you today will be on these guides. They're on the PBSC website. And again, anything, if there's something I showed you here today and you're like, Tom said something about this database, and it'll all be on that PBSC research guide, and I'll show you how to get there. And finally, I want to talk to you a little bit about researching careers. You have a couple of databases and several websites that are available without even getting onto the PBSC electronic resources. And I'll show you that. Again, this is all on the research guide as well. There's my name there. It's Tom O'Brien. My more formal email address is thomasobrien@fau.edu. And for those wondering, that little girl on the screen there is my daughter. She likes to be in my presentations. So I'm going to switch up here for a minute. I'm going to do a new share, and I'm going to do a share of the Palm Beach State College website, the homepage. So the very first thing you need to do if you're doing any of this is you need to come up to the top of the page here where it says Panther Web. You're going to click on that, and you're going to scroll down just a little bit, and you're going to see log into Panther Web. When you get there, it's going to ask you to use your PBSC credentials, your username and password, as if you were logging onto a computer at the school, but you're doing this remotely, as we all are. So once you log into Panther Web, you should be good to go. So I'm going to go right back to the Palm Beach State College homepage. Now, there's two ways you can do this. When you log into Panther Web, there is going to be access and a link to the library. I'm going to go straight to the homepage. I just like doing it this way. So here I am at the Palm Beach State College homepage. And now that I've already logged into Panther Web, and the reason I'm doing this, by the way, is because I have a different way to log in. I'm not affiliated necessarily with Palm Beach State College. I don't have a Palm Beach ID, so I do it a little bit differently. But once you've logged into Panther Web, you can scroll down a little bit here to the right-hand side where it says Quick Links. And click on that and scroll down again, and you'll see on the right-hand side here, it says library. You're going to click on that. Once you click on that, you're going to see all these different campuses: Belle Glade, Boca Raton, Lake Worth, Locks Groves, and Palm Beach Gardens. You don't have to click on any of them. So what you want to do is keep scrolling down until you see resources and services and where it says A to Z databases. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to show you, it says here there are 177 databases, and a lot of people look at that and say, well, how do I know which one to use? The easiest thing to do, I think, for this particular class, I'm going to show you about two different databases, general databases that you're going to want to use for this class and other classes moving forward as well. I show these two specifically because they can help you in almost any class that you're taking. So first one I want to show you, and it's right here under popular databases. It's called Academic Search Complete. You can click on that, or you can just scroll down a little bit, and here it is again, Academic Search Complete. I'm going to click on that. And I'm showing you this database because I've been using this a lot of people trying to access, excuse me, this at the same time. So I'm going to pick a topic here, and I realize it has nothing to do with the SLS 1501 class, but I just want to show you what you can do with the databases. And I have a pre-picked, if you will, topic, and my pre-picked topic is going to be employee theft. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to type in employee theft here. And the cool thing about databases, they give you options here: employee theft, or this or that, or that, this or that. And that's a good thing, because if you're not really sure what you're looking for, they'll give you those suggestions and maybe kind of guide you. I saw what I really wanted to look at, but I'm not going to get there yet because I want to do this specifically for a reason. So I'm going to click on search. And you're going to see here that I have 755 articles. Now, the first thing that I usually hear from students is I can get a heck of a lot more than 755 articles on Google, on Yahoo, etc., on the email, rather on the internet. And that's true. But a lot of what you get on the internet is not published stuff. It's not legitimate. Then you have to kind of decide, am I looking at something that's legitimate? When you're using the databases, and again, this is part of your tuition, when you're using the databases, everything that you get is going to be legitimate sources. So we have 755. That's not bad. But anybody who's ever worked in the retail industry knows that employee theft, sometimes they're also going to call that something else. So I'm going to do employee theft, and again, there's those different suggestions. I'm going to pretend I don't see them. I'm going to say employee theft or loss prevention, because if you've worked in retail, you know that's a huge issue. So now our 755 articles turned into 19,000 articles. So you can see just adding another word, another way to say what you're looking for can really, really help you out and get you a ton more articles that you are really looking for. Myself, I also worked in retail many years ago, and I know that they also call that shrinkage. And I'll type in shrinkage as well and see what comes up here. So I'll do a search. And so now I'm up another 11,000. I have 28,000 articles now. So that's quite a bit. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, that's a little more than I need. True, but we can easily narrow that down a little further. So first thing I would tell people to do is to make sure that this little box is checked off where it says full text. That way you're looking at whatever article that comes up, you're looking at the full article and not just a portion of it or a snippet from it. Also, some of your instructors may say that you need to use peer-reviewed articles. If I had a dime for every student that came up to me in the library and said, hey, but I need to make sure it's peer-reviewed, how do I know it's peer-reviewed? All you have to do is check off this box here, and whatever comes up will be peer-reviewed. You're going to run into some classes that are going to require that, so that's just a good thing to know. For the purpose of this presentation, I'm not going to do that, but I am going to come down to the next thing here, publication date. I don't really want articles from 1930 because I'm sure things have changed a bit in the industry and how they approach loss prevention. So I'm going to choose probably about, if I can get it, about the last 10 years or so. Now we're down. We just got rid of 8,000 articles because they were too old. They were just simply too old. But 20,000 is still quite a bit of articles. So let's see what else we can do. We can also come here and look at source types. What kind of sources do you want to use in your paper? I'm going to choose a nice small one here, and I just need magazine articles. So I'm going to click on that. And so our 28,000 articles within 2 clicks just went down to 1,844. Much more manageable. So what else can I do though? It's still kind of a lot of articles to kind of browse through and see what I'm looking for. So I'm going to scroll down even more and go to subject. And it says here, show more subjects. Well, I want to make sure I'm looking at stuff that has to do with, let's see, let's just choose the United States, see what's happening in the United States, and we'll update that. It's now we came down to the 24 articles that were using my terms that came down to what I was looking for, the 24. And I don't know, you're still going to have to look through these, but 24 articles is a lot better than looking through 1,800. I think we can all agree on that. So what do I have here? Without looking at them, I'm just going to show you, see if we can get a good example here. I don't like that article. Wage theft, a national disgrace. Let's just pretend this is something that I'm looking for. I know it's not really for what I really want to do if I want to do this topic, but let's pretend for a second. They give you two options here. Here's all your publication information. Came from 2015. And the great thing about databases, by the way, is if an article came out in a journal last week, there's a good chance it's already in the database. But they give you two choices here to look at, the HTML full text or the PDF full text. For those non-techie people, HTML is just hypertext markup language. All that means is you're looking at a web page. The PDF full text, I forget what the PDF stands for, portable document file, maybe. But it basically is looking at a scanned image of that article. That's great if you're using a direct quote in your paper because you're going to get the page numbers that you're going to need for that. I personally like using the HTML because there's some things that it can do that that are kind of cool. So I'm going to click on that. And every single database that you use has little bells and whistles that they do, things that some other databases don't do. I like Academic Search Complete because one of the most important things you have to do at the end of your paper is go to the cite button, or cite, excuse me, cite your work. Easy peasy here. All you do have to do is hit the cite button. And when that comes up, you find whatever format you're using, the APA, let's say you're using MLA, you just copy that and then you paste it into your Word document, and there's your reference, your works cited for that article. So it's really, really easy. That's all done for you. That used to take forever and a day just to do that one page. No longer. Let me click out of the citation. And some other cool things that they can do in this particular database. We have our 24 articles, but let's just say my first language is not English. You can also translate the article into a number of different languages. I have no idea what half of these even say. So I'm not going to translate that, but you can do that. I would just be careful if you do that, because if you've ever used Google Translate, you know that's not quite what it should kind of sound like. But you'll get the gist of the article if it's in your primary language. So another thing that you can do here on Academic Search Complete is you can come over to listen. I know this is good for me because I'm not the best reader in the world, admittedly. I learn best by doing, by watching, and by listening. So I can actually click on this button, and it's great for me because I can be feeding my cat, I can be playing with my daughter, I can be doing the dishes, and I can have the laptop on the table and I can listen to that article. And I actually learn better that way. That's me. This is kind of useless, but it's kind of like to show it. You can also change the accent of the person reading the article to you from American, Australian, or British. Not necessary, but if you want to mix it up, it's kind of a cool thing that you can do. And you can always email the article to yourself if you happen to be somewhere and you don't want to lose it. You can email it to yourself so you make sure you have it. So that, in a real fast nutshell, is Academic Search Complete. I'm going to move on from Academic Search Complete because I think that's pretty simple and easy to follow. I'm going to go back to the database list, though, and show you another one. And the next one I want to show you, if I scroll all the way down, in fact, I'm not going to scroll down because it's way down there. I'm going to go right up to the list at the top, and where it's the alphabetical list, I'm going to go to the databases starting with P. You may want to write these two down, by the way, to Academic Search Complete, or put a star next to it if you've already written it down. And the next one is called ProQuest. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. You have ProQuest Criminal Justice, but you have also ProQuest All Subscribed Content, and that's the one you want to use because that has everything, and you're going to see that in a second. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, so if you've used any one of these databases, you can probably use them all. They may look slightly different, but I'm going to use the exact same search terms I used in my first search here. And it was employee theft. Now, and again, they're giving you suggestions. Tom, is this what you're trying to say? Is this where you're going with that? It kind of is, but again, I'm going to play dumb here and pretend I don't see that. So we're doing a search on employee theft. And the reason I'm showing you ProQuest, excuse me, second, is because if I hit search right away in ProQuest, this is a large database, and it has already 181,000 articles on employee theft. And let's just do the same thing we did in Academic Search Complete. We'll do employee theft, or the next thing I called it was loss prevention. So now this search is going to look for anything that says employee theft or anything that says loss prevention. So we should get even more articles. And so now we went from 181 to 602,000 results. Kind of crazy. But let's, again, keep doing what we did with the other one and just compare the two databases. This one, or shrinkage. And we'll click search. So now we went from 181,000 results to 600 and almost 700,000 results. So you can see this is actually very much a larger database than Academic Search Complete. I use them interchangeably. Sometimes the articles that are in here are going to be in the other one, and you know, the articles that are in the other one are in here. But sometimes you get one here or there that isn't in the other one. So I'm going to scroll down here and do the same thing we did in the other database, the Academic Search Complete. I want to make sure full text is checked off. Again, for the purpose of this demonstration, I don't want to click peer reviewed. It'll take away a lot of my results, but if you need a peer reviewed article, just make sure that's clicked on, checked off, excuse me. And choose your source type. I'm going to go right back to those magazine articles that I like to look at. I don't want to look at trade journals. I don't want to look at historical newspapers, etc. So I'll apply that. And now I'm down to 11,000. Hey, from 700,000 results to 11,000, just under 12,000. That's pretty good for one click. So scroll down a little bit more. And we want to make sure we're looking at stuff in, say, we'll change it up this time and do the last 5 years. We want recent stuff. Now we're down to 2,269 articles. If I really wanted to, I could scroll down here to the subject again. And what am I really looking for? Well, I really want to focus on employees and employee theft, not necessarily theft from customers, but employees. So I'll apply that. And now within maybe 4 clicks or so, we went from 700,000 results to the 234 results that I was really looking for. So you're saving yourself a ton of time, and that's huge. Let's just pretend that the first 5 articles that I found in ProQuest are exactly what I'm looking for. Now, that's probably not going to happen. You're still going to have to do a little bit of digging, but let's pretend. So we got the 5 results I needed. I'm good to go. Just like the other database, you can cite your sources. You just got to come up to this little quote here, click on that, and it says cite. Choose your style that you're using. We're going to choose again MLA. The latest edition is the 8th edition. We'll click on that. And here's my work cited page. And I'm glad this came up the way it came up. You can see here, they're clearly not in alphabetical order. That's human error. This is put together by people. But your sources are here, and you copy and paste that, put it into your Word document, and then just switch it around based on what should be alphabetically correct. So another great thing about this database, and the reason I really like to show it, other than the fact that it's huge, is you come up to the top of the screen, and again, you can email the results to yourself. If you click on, you see I still have 5 things in my folder here. Let's just say you accidentally stepped on the cord or moved the cord on your computer and you lost power, or there's a storm in the area and you lost power. First thing you probably want to do is when you get to ProQuest is create an account. So you come up to the little silhouette here, and you create a research account. You fill in the required information. It's not much: email, password, confirm your password, tell them that you're over 13, uh, and consent to privacy. Uh, Once you fill that out, all of your searches will be put into your account. So you don't have to worry about, say, I was looking at something last night, I lost it, I can't find it. It's in your saved searches. So, and when you save a document, it'll ask you, where do you want to put it in your documents, in your searches, etc. So, excuse me, that is really, really quickly ProQuest, and what you can do with that. And again, I'm just going to click on one of them full text here and show you that it looks pretty similar to the other database. There's your abstract, which will tell you before you end up reading the article what you're about to read, so you can determine if that's even going to be good for you or not. So and all of your keywords are highlighted, so you can kind of get to specific areas of that article and say, hey, that's exactly what I'm looking for, or not. So that's ProQuest, and I'm gonna get out of ProQuest for a second here. Actually, for good. Let's get out of there for good. I also want to show you, I showed you the citations. I showed you two different databases. I also want to show you how to get to the research guides. You click on research guides, and what I would suggest you do is go by owner, because what I'm showing you here is fairly specific to what what I know this class needs. Personally, so I'm going to go by owner, and you just got, hey, look for me. Look for Thomas O'Brien at FAU. He's got 18 guides. Well, what does he have? You're going to scroll down a little bit, and you're going to see a couple of different SLS 1501s. I'm going to show you the Boca campus one. They all pretty much have the same stuff, maybe a tweak here or there based on what an instructor asked me to put on there, or it said was not necessary. And any instructor can ask me to make their own libguide, and specifically with their name, and we can do that too. So I'm going to show you the Boca Campus SLS 1501. Okay, so here's my guide. This is me. You can click on that. You can get my contact information. What I want to show you, again, the different tabs here: getting started, search strategies. Basically, that's a tab on using different keywords and how else can I say what I'm looking for. Getting help, I'll talk about that in a minute. A few minutes rather. Citations, maybe you're using a database that doesn't actually cite things for you, or you're using a book or an interview that you happen to have with somebody and you need to know how to cite that. You can click on that tab and go to MLA Guide and MLA Style Center, and you can actually find out how to cite those sources. Or you can go another easy way is to find a citation creation tool, like Citation Machine, BibMe, Zotero. There's a number of these things. I know another one that's not here. It's called stylewizard.com. You can use that as well. A little bit of information about plagiarism. I'm just going to say one thing about that. If you're unsure whether or not to cite it, cite it. You can't get in trouble for oversighting. You can get in trouble for not citing. PBSC info, this is for you if you want to know a little bit about using the FAU library when we do open and things like that. General databases tab has academic search complete, and of course ProQuest. I may add some more in there. There are others. For a 40-minute presentation, I like to try and stick to maybe about 2 of them. So I'm going to click on the Exploring Careers tab though. And here you're going to see we have databases that you can use as well: Career Transitions, Prep Step, and Salem Careers, and Vocations and Careers. Those are all databases. Those aren't things you can just find online. Again, part of your tuition. You can find those, and pretty useful as well. So I've already showed 2 databases, though. I want to show you, again, specifically for this class, a couple of good places to go. One of them would be, I always like to show this first. I've been using this for a long time, probably 20 some odd years. Occupational Outlook Handbook. Again, this is available freely online, but here's a link to it. So here I am on the Occupational Outlook Handbook. This is put together by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And let's just search for a career. We'll search the handbook and we'll look for Let's just pick registered nurses. Okay, and it's kind of convenient here with our heroes of the day right now. We'll click on go. Okay, so here it comes up. You got a couple of different options here: nurse practitioners, healthcare, licensed practical nurse. I know I want to look specifically at registered nurses, so I'll click on that. And this is great because it's a really good synopsis of everything that you need to know about a career. If you're an undecided college student, this is a great place to go and look and find out things about pretty much any career. Nice little summary here in the median pay, 73,000 per year. Now that doesn't mean in every state. You go to New York, that's probably going to be up in the 90s. If you go out to Montana, that's probably going to be lower than that. Depends where you are, but I'll show you how you can find that information as well as state information. It's actually right here, but we'll get to that. Um, Type of typical entry level education, you need a bachelor's degree to become a registered nurse, at least a bachelor's degree. Work experience, none. You'll be getting plenty of experience in the job, on the job. Um, Number of jobs in 2018, and the job outlook. You always want to see something in the plus category here, 12%, much faster than the average. So we're always going to need nurses. We all see that every day now with the COVID-19 situation. So what do registered nurses do? You can sit here and you can come down here. There's a nice little simple one-liner about what they do, but we know that's not going to encompass all they do. So let's go to the tab. What do they do? Here are their duties. Uh, some examples of different types of nurses, different types of registered nurses, and scroll up. The work environment. This is important to know. If you want to get into a job, you find out a little bit about what you can expect in that environment. Where you're going to work. You can work for the government. Uh, Injuries and illnesses. Work schedules is important to look at. I know a nurse in New York, and she works a crazy schedule, like uh, 7 days on, maybe 10 days off. It's a really strenuous schedule, and that's good to know. How to become a registered nurse. Here's your education, much more in depth than just saying you need a bachelor's degree. Licenses, certifications, and registrations. A lot of people don't realize that just because you become a registered nurse, or a lot of other occupations as well, they require yearly licenses or certifications, etc., to make sure that you're up to date with what you need to know. Important qualities for being a nurse: critical thinking, obvious; communication, you have to be a people person and talk to people; again, compassion, you're dealing with a lot of ill people. You're dealing with people that need help, so you need to have some compassion, hopefully. Detail oriented, obviously. Emotional stability, you're going to see a lot of things that, suffering and stuff. You need to be able to keep your emotions stable. Organizational skills and physical stamina. It is a task heavy occupation. So scroll up a little bit here. The pay, everyone needs to know about the pay. Um, Registered nurses, median annual wages from May of last year. Okay, so that could change too, but you'll get the gist of this here. Scroll up job outlook. Let's find out, am I going into the right job? That's super important to know. State and area data is where I was saying you can click on any one of these links here and they'll tell you based on a state how much you can expect to earn, starting salary for a registered nurse or whatever occupation you put in there. I've always told people that in a lot of ways, a degree can be just a ticket, if you will, to another job. It might not even be a job that is anything related, or it could be a little bit related. Similar occupations, and I show this for a reason, and it's nice to know the pay of those similar occupations too. And I show this because I know a lady who went to culinary school, and she's a fantastic cook. She's a chef, and she moved back to California, and she all of a sudden she got a job at Enterprise Rent a Car and now she's the Southern California Regional Coordinator for the Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Quite different from being a chef, but you know, again, I always say that a lot of times degrees and certificates and stuff like that, it's tickets to do something. So I'm going to get out of Occupational Outlook Handbook. And what else do we have? We have ONET online. And there's not really much I can add to what I just said about Occupational Outlook Handbook, but you can see it's kind of the same deal here. We're going to type in, there it is, I did the search already, for registered nurse. Here it is, look at this, it's got a bright outlook, that's nice to know. And here's the summary again of that particular occupation. The tasks, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tasks here. We know they do a lot more than that. Yeah, that's 5 of 28 displayed. Let's see what else they do. So you can see it's pretty in depth. Technology skills, 5 of 15 displayed. What else do they do? And there's your list. The knowledge that they need, quite a lot of knowledge. Skills, we went through that. 16 different types of skills here. Active learning, persuasion and time management added to this one. Abilities, 24 different types of abilities that you should probably work up on if you want to become a registered nurse. And the activities, work context, job zone, education, again, a bachelor's degree, associate's degree, depending on what kind of nurse you want to be. Interests, work styles, work values, etc., related occupations. So you can kind of see it's kind of the same deal as Occupational Outlook Handbook, but you can go into the details section and look at the task, and it's a little more detailed. So let me get out of this one. That's ONET, and Career One Stop's another one. And I believe Career One Stop is the first thing that you're looking for is if you were just to type in a career here, I believe it's actually looking for jobs. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I used Career One Stop, but you can also do a job search, find training, and here's what you want to do is explore the career. So click on explore the career and then put in the occupation here. And it also allowed you to do the state and zip code even. So maybe not just a state, because you know that it's probably going to be a different pay in South Florida as opposed to North Florida. And again, depending on where you work. So all in all, that is how to find career information. And again, that's not just, get out of this here for a second, that is not just websites. Again, you have databases that can have articles and stuff, information on careers as well. So let me get out of this here for a second and show you where you can get help if you need help. So from the library's page again, one thing you have access to is Ask a Librarian. Now, if you come here to Ask a Librarian, you're going to be talking to a Palm Beach State College librarian, which is fine. You have options here to do a live chat with a librarian. You have an option to email a librarian and then wait for your answer later. And maybe you just want to get a question in and go do what you got to do, and then wait for your answer. Or you can sit there on your phone and you can text a librarian and somebody will get in touch with you. Sometimes if somebody from Palm Beach State College is not there or it's after their hours, you may get this is open till midnight for the state. This is statewide service. Don't just assume you're talking to somebody from Palm Beach State College or FAU, because you may be talking to somebody from Tallahassee, FSU, or in Gainesville at University of Florida, or some small college on the west coast of Florida that I've never heard of. All state universities are on this thing, so just know that. But you have options here if you don't want to get to the library. I mean, we're not even able to get to the library anyway, so we are working from home. So maybe you want to chat with a librarian or email or text the librarian and get some help that way. So let me go back to one other place that you can get help here. And I'm going to go to the library at FAU. We are there for you as well. It's not just FAU students. We're open to the public, but we also serve Palm Beach State College students specifically as well. And what you want to do is you want to come to the FAU Libraries Updates and Resources Coronavirus. This will be for the summer. Hopefully not to the fall, but we'll see about that. And the resources, you can go to Lib2Go. It's like library to go. And what I would suggest for you, if you need help, if you scroll down here, you can get online help 24/7. This is the Ask a Librarian service, just like PBSC has email, text, or chat. And you can also schedule an online consultation. We have face-to-face consultations normally. I always have students in my office. When we're open, I'm more than happy to have you come in and come and ask for me. I'm the only Tom in the building, so you can just ask for Tom, and if I'm there, you're gonna get me. And you can come to my office and we can sit down and see what you need help with and whatnot. So you also have access to virtual office hours. Now, let me go back for a second. The online consultations. What you're going to do is you're going to fill out a form here, and a librarian will get back to you, and you can request a specific librarian if you want, or if you don't want a specific librarian, they'll reach out to other librarians and get somebody to help you, and you'll get on either an online Zoom or maybe even a phone call, or and a librarian will get back to you, and you can get your help that way. So or you could come down and go to virtual office hours, and you'll see here there's a number of librarians at FAU that have the days and times when they're in their virtual office. I was just in mine today. If I scroll down here, these are the areas that I typically help students with, but not the only areas. But you can go there and I'm also the liaison for the library to the Palm Beach State College campus. So you can see my hours here. Again, Wednesday I was there for 3 hours. You can click on that, and when you click on that, well, you click on this, and when you click on that, you're going to wait to be invited into my virtual office. And once you're on there, you can either get on with your video on, or if you don't want to be seen, you can, maybe it's early in the morning, you can just take your video off, and we can talk one-on-one that way as well. And again, if these times don't work for you, you can always go to one of these other areas here, one of these other virtual offices, and see if somebody can help you at that specific time. So that is finding help. And let me just make sure I am not missing something here. Let me go back. And well, you do have access to interlibrary loan as well. We can get books or articles for you if you can't seem to find what you're looking for. You click on that, and you basically create an account, and it'll walk you right through it. But we can get stuff from literally all over the world. There used to be a time when I said we can get stuff from every continent but Antarctica. But guess who we got something from last year? That's right, Antarctica. So we now get stuff from all over the world, every single continent, and it's coming in all the time. So that's an option for you. Excuse me. And let me scroll down and see if there's anything else I'm missing. You can, you're welcome to check that out and see what's available as well. So I think that's about all I have to give you. For now, like I said, if you need to, I'm going to tell you right now, you had my, the first screen that I showed you was my, it should have been my email address, thomasobrien@fau.edu. That's O'Brien, Obrien @fau.edu. So you can do that as well. Or you can email me. You can call me if you want to. You can call me at 561-297-0204. Again, 561-297-0204, and that'll actually get you to my office phone at FAU, but that phone will be transferred to my my cell phone, and I can help you that way. Hopefully I'm home at the time when you call. If I'm not, maybe I can still help you as well, but I can maybe give you some suggestions or whatever if I'm not home. So again, my name is Tom O'Brien. Welcome to SLS 1501, and I hope this helps you. So be safe and be well. Take care.